If you want to land a high paying role in tech sales, this is part 2 of my series where I teach you how to go from nothing to account executive where I am today. Now, before you get into the role, last video I talked a little bit about what is tech sales, what is a BDR and SDR, what do they do. You need to understand now what success looks like as a BDR and what you're measured on so you can articulate this in the interviews that you have what it takes. First, activity metrics. Most of the time, you're expected to make a certain amount of cold calls or cold emails a day to get in front of prospects. On average, 1% of every cold call you make ends up in a meeting. Now, what you actually get paid on is qualified attended meetings, because anybody can have a guy say, okay, call me back and call it as a meeting. But an attended qualified meeting means the guy showed up and the account executive moved him into their pipeline because they were qualified and there's actually a business opportunity there. Typically, it depends on your calling smaller or bigger companies, but qualified attended quotas can range from anywhere from 5 per month up to 20 per month. Now let's think about that for a second so you understand what you're getting into. 5 meetings a month at 100 calls a day. 100 calls a day, there's 20 work days in a month. That's 2,000 calls in a month, and you only booked 5 meetings. That's hard, and it takes a lot of resilience to be able to do that. Now, at the end of the day, even if your job isn't to close business, you are still an investment in the eyes of the CEO. So you do have a revenue quota and a contract quota, which is kind of unfair because you don't have control on whether or not your AE can close or not. AE is account executive, the person above you that you're passing these meetings to. And so let's say you're the best BDR in the company, but for some reason your AE can't close. This happens at Salesforce all the time. They will fire you as a BDR because you're not pulling in enough revenue technically. Even though you're sourcing good deals, it's not ending in cash, and the CEO, that's all he cares about. Am I right? So it kind of sucks. There's things outside of your control that you get judged on. But the most successful SDRs, they make the most dials every day. They're working day in and day out. They track their activity. They track how many calls it takes to get a connect, how many connects it takes to get a meeting, and they work backwards to make sure they make those amount of dials every month in order to hit their quota. Also, the best BDRs. And by the way, I'm able to speak to this because I was the best BDR. That's why I'm an account executive today. They understand what companies are likely to close and generate revenue. So they set meetings with qualified companies and qualified prospects that have the decision-making power to buy. If you set a meeting with an account executive, they can't buy crap inside of a company. You have to be calling their boss or their boss's boss that can go to the CEO and say, hey, we need this product because X, Y, Z. Now I want you to take a very deep look at every single VP of sales beginning of their career. Always started with a BDR. This is the only way to work your way in the ranks from a sales position. And if you want to make it to account executive or team lead or VP of sales or CEO, damn it, you need to be a BDR first. That's why I decided to join, because account executives make at least 6 figures and BDRs can too if you get in at the right company. So now that you understand what it looks like and takes to succeed as a BDR, I'll talk about my next video, what you can expect from a paying standpoint realistically in your first year and what that looks like.